Hi everyone, this is Mom Loves to Collect, and look who's here. Finally, the type 1 diabetes doll. I was able to go pick her up at Target today. I placed an order online as soon as I saw that she was available. She was made in collaboration with Breakthrough T1D, which stands for type 1 diabetes, and they were formerly known as JDRF, which stands for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. She is considered part of the Fashionistas line. Here is the side of her box, and you can see some of the Fashionistas, and she actually has a number. So her number is 242. For those of you who don't know, my daughter is 22 years old and she has type 1 diabetes, and that is why I was super excited when I heard about this doll. Here is my daughter's mini-me, and my daughter was diagnosed at the tender age of 13. It was a very, very hard time for her back then, trying to learn how to deal with this autoimmune disease and having to inject herself a few times a day, not only with insulin, but also injecting to check her blood sugar levels. Okay, here she is out of the box. She is a brunette, and I love the hair color, almost reddish brown. It's so pretty. Her two-piece outfit is so cute. It is a royal blue with light blue circles or polka dots. So she wears this cute little almost handkerchief style on the top, and it's got ribbons for straps. Her matching mini skirt has like a little flare on the bottom, and both pieces just Velcro on the back. She comes wearing these short light blue high-heeled boots. They gave her a matching plastic light blue purse. The front has a faux buckle, and on the back it has a faux zipper. It is cut in the middle, so it has a little space. Here is the included cell phone, and it is connected to her pump as well as her CGM, and that way she can keep an eye on her sugar levels as well as her insulin levels. The back of the phone does have a little clip so the doll can hold it, and it can also be clipped onto her purse. Now let's move on to the exciting parts. Let's start with her CGM. So they gave her a really cute heart-shaped pink CGM, and CGM stands for Continuous Glucose Monitor. It looks like the way they attached it is similar to an earring. So it looks like it can come out all the way, but then your doll is left with a heart-shaped imprint and a hole in her arm. I was hoping that wasn't the case because I wanted my daughter's mini-me to be able to wear the CGM. Now let's move on to her insulin pump. And it too is connected like with a little hole. Her insulin pump is showing a reading of 130. Normal ranges, I believe, are from 80 to 120. So she's just a little bit on the high side with this reading. But if you know anybody with type 1 diabetes, you will know that this illness is like a roller coaster. 1 minute you're high, 1 minute you're low, and it is very difficult to maintain the normal range of levels. Here is the CGM out of its little plastic holder, and there's the hole in the doll where it connects to the pump line. And I did clip it to the skirt or it will fall off. So the cell phone works in tandem through an app with the CGM to get blood glucose levels every 5 minutes. And it also works in tandem with the pump, also through an app. And then you can see on your phone's app how your levels are doing, whether you need to give yourself more insulin or not. My daughter wears both of these devices every day. They are definitely life-changing and life-saving devices. So for my daughter's mini-me, I had made my own CGM as well as insulin pump, but I just don't have it at the moment. If I have it somewhere on my Instagram page, I will insert a photo of the one I made. I just used a plastic little kind of rubbery item to make the CGM. It's too bad this doll was not around when my daughter got diagnosed at 13. She is now 22 and just graduated college, but she too is interested in getting one of these dolls as it makes you feel seen and validated. Type 1 diabetes is definitely not an invisible illness. As you can see, in order to stay alive, you have to wear an insulin pump or give yourself insulin with a syringe needle, or insulin pens. That's why the insulin pump is much better, because you only have to poke yourself one time to connect the insulin to your stomach. And then you just program the pump with the insulin that you need to give yourself, depending on your levels. So the CGM has to be changed every 10 days, which is actually a good long time. So what you do is you take it off and you place a new one, and you try to pick a different spot so that you're not always poking the same spot. For the insulin pump, unfortunately, you can't leave it on as long as the CGM. You have to change it every 3 days. And then you have to program your pump again with how much insulin you have for this new batch. And then you have to poke yourself one more time in order to get the new insulin to start pumping. It is not easy to do, but once you've been doing it for so many years, you become an expert, and you can do it in just a few minutes. Same with the CGM. Unfortunately, living with type 1 diabetes is very hard. Every time you eat or have a snack, you need to calculate your carbs and program into your pump how much insulin you need before you start eating. And if you forget or you don't have time to do that, you can then calculate your carbs after you eat, but it is better to do it beforehand, which is how my daughter does it, but I'm sure everybody handles it in their own way. The arm is the most common place, but you can place it on other parts of your body, like your stomach or your upper thighs. Although these two dolls do look a little similar, this one looks more like my daughter because my daughter has green eyes. So I'm going to switch their heads and make this one here, because of the CGM and the insulin pump, my daughter's new mini-me. So I would have preferred if the CGM and the pump could be used on different body types of dolls, like a made to move. But unfortunately, these will not work on other dolls unless you can somehow make holes into their bodies, which I would love to try to do. But overall, I think she is an absolute great doll, representing type 1 diabetes very well. So thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye. So for my daughter's, but unfortunately, living with type 1